Denmark has garnered international attention for its stringent stance on immigration. While some hail the country's approach as a necessary measure to preserve social cohesion, others criticize it for being overly restrictive. At the heart of this debate lies the economic impact of immigration, a subject that influences Denmark's policies and its long-term aspirations as a nation. This script will delve into why Denmark is taking such a firm position on immigration, examining the economic factors at play, the challenges, and the broader implications for the country's future. To understand Denmark's current stance, we must first consider its historical context. Like much of Europe, Denmark experienced a significant influx of immigrants in the late 20th century, driven by labor shortages and later by the refugee crises stemming from conflicts in the Middle East and Africa. Initially, this migration was welcomed as a solution to an aging population and a declining workforce. However, over time, the narrative shifted as concerns about integration, social welfare costs, and cultural identity emerged. One of the primary arguments for Denmark's tough immigration policies is the strain on its welfare state. Denmark is known for its generous social welfare programs, including free healthcare, education, and unemployment benefits. These systems rely heavily on high tax revenues generated by a productive workforce. Critics argue that an influx of immigrants, particularly those who are not immediately employable, places undue pressure on these resources. For instance, refugees and low-skilled migrants often face challenges in finding jobs, partly due to language barriers and the need to upskill. A report from Denmark's Ministry of Finance in recent years highlighted the financial burden associated with non-Western immigrants. According to the report, non-Western immigrants and their descendants have a net cost to the state, as their contributions in taxes often do not offset the expenses incurred through welfare programs. This data has fueled public debates and political rhetoric, emphasizing the economic risks of uncontrolled immigration. Employment is another critical factor driving Denmark's approach. The Danish economy is highly specialized, with a strong emphasis on industries such as pharmaceuticals, renewable energy, and advanced manufacturing. These sectors often require highly skilled workers, making it difficult for low-skilled immigrants to integrate into the labor market. While Denmark does need foreign workers to address labor shortages in certain areas, the preference has shifted towards attracting highly skilled professionals rather than accepting large numbers of refugees or low-skilled migrants. Integration challenges further complicate the issue. Denmark has faced criticism for its slow integration of immigrants into society and the workforce. Studies have shown that non-Western immigrants in Denmark often have lower employment rates compared to native Danes. This disparity exacerbates public concerns about the long-term economic sustainability of immigration. The government's response has been to implement stricter requirements for immigrants, including mandatory language courses, cultural orientation programs, and even financial incentives to return to their home countries. Housing and urban planning also play a role in Denmark's immigration policies. The influx of immigrants has contributed to housing shortages, particularly in urban areas like Copenhagen. Rising demand for housing has driven up property prices and rents, making it more difficult for both immigrants and native Danes to afford adequate living conditions. This has led to tensions in some communities, where overcrowding and competition for resources create friction between residents. Cultural identity is another significant factor influencing Denmark's stance on immigration. The country places a strong emphasis on preserving its cultural heritage and social values. Critics argue that high levels of immigration risk diluting these traditions, leading to social fragmentation. Political leaders have often framed immigration as a threat to Denmark's social cohesion, emphasizing the need for newcomers to fully integrate and adopt Danish values. This narrative has resonated with a large segment of the population, further driving support for restrictive policies. Denmark's policies have also been shaped by the broader European context. The European Union's principles of free movement and shared responsibility for refugees have sparked debates across member states. While Denmark is a member of the EU, it has opted out of certain aspects of EU immigration and asylum policies, allowing it to maintain stricter controls. This unique position reflects Denmark's desire to retain sovereignty over its immigration system while balancing its obligations as part of the European community. One of the most controversial aspects of Denmark's immigration policies is its approach to asylum seekers. The government has introduced measures to discourage refugees from seeking asylum in Denmark, including reducing welfare benefits, limiting family reunification, and even exploring the possibility of processing asylum applications in third countries. These measures have drawn criticism from human rights organizations, but the government argues that they are necessary to prevent Denmark from becoming an attractive destination for migrants. Despite these challenges, there are arguments in favor of a more balanced approach to immigration. Proponents of a more open policy emphasize the potential economic benefits of immigration, particularly in addressing labor shortages in sectors like healthcare, construction, and agriculture. They argue that with the right support systems, immigrants can become valuable contributors to the economy, helping to offset the impacts of an aging population and ensuring the sustainability of Denmark's welfare state. Demographics are a key concern for Denmark's future. Like many European countries, Denmark faces an aging population and declining birth rates. Without sufficient immigration, the country risks a shrinking workforce and reduced economic growth. Some economists argue that selective immigration policies focusing on attracting skilled workers could help address these issues while minimizing the perceived risks associated with large-scale immigration. Education and training programs could also play a vital role in improving the integration of immigrants into Danish society. By investing in language courses, vocational training, and initiatives that promote social inclusion, Denmark could enhance the employability of immigrants and reduce the long-term costs associated with welfare dependency. Such measures would require a shift in public attitudes and political will, but could yield significant economic and social benefits. Denmark's approach to immigration is also closely tied to its political landscape. The rise of populist parties and anti-immigration rhetoric has influenced policy decisions, with mainstream parties adopting tougher stances to appeal to voters. This political dynamic has created a cycle where restrictive policies are seen as necessary to maintain public support, even as critics argue that they may not address the root causes of immigration challenges. Looking ahead, Denmark's economic future will depend on finding a sustainable balance between maintaining social cohesion and addressing the needs of its economy. While the current policies reflect a cautious approach, there is room for innovation and reform. By focusing on policies that promote integration, attract skilled workers, and address demographic challenges, Denmark could position itself as a model for managing immigration in a way that benefits both society and the economy. In conclusion, Denmark's tough stance on immigration is deeply rooted in economic, social, and cultural factors. While the challenges are undeniable, so too are the opportunities for creating a more inclusive and sustainable approach. As the global landscape continues to evolve, Denmark's ability to adapt its immigration policies will play a crucial role in shaping its economic future. The debate over immigration is far from over, but it is clear that finding the right balance will be essential for Denmark to thrive in the years to come.